Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. My name's Em. If you don't know, now you know. How are you guys? How was your last 2 weeks? I hope it was great. We had, well, for all of my Canadian friends, Thanksgiving was last Monday, so that was super fun. My sister moved in with me back in August. Isabel, can you hear me? Oh, I want to say hi to Mummy. Mummy!
She's filming for her podcast.
Hi, Mummy.
Ooh, why is that in a photo of me? That is disgusting.
Do you want to say hi to the podcast, Mom?
Oh, no.
Oh, I was just calling to see if I was being too loud.
Oh, I didn't even hear you.
Oh, okay, say. Well, don't come out again. Anyways, as I was saying, my sister moved in with me back in August. And we didn't end up going home for Thanksgiving, so we just stayed here. And I had Chinese food for my Thanksgiving dinner. And she had New York fries. Which is great. Anyways, what else have I done in the last 2 weeks? Oh, okay, so sorry, my brain's going a million miles a minute. I had a not great day today, so this is going to be a little scrabbled. But public skating opened not this past week, but the week before in the city that I live in. So I went on Sunday, which I guess now it's last Sunday. Anyways, I went on Sunday and I made a story about it and I posted a TikTok about it on my gym page. So if you follow me on the gym page, you've probably already seen it. I'll put the audio in here right now because I think the audio is really funny. Hi, my name's Emily. I'm 22, and a fun fact about me is I was a competitive figure skater for 7 years when I was a kid. That ended about 5 years ago because my entire body broke down, and now I barely have a meniscus in my right knee. Anyways, I just went to public skating, did like an hour and a half of literally just doing laps. Didn't do a spin, didn't do a jump, didn't do anything, and I'm in so much pain. So anyways, as it turns out, if you're 22 and trying to go back to your childhood sports or hobbies, it's actually really fucking hard. But it's worth it, because do I feel great? Yes. Am I in excruciating pain? Also yes. However, am I going to be back in 2 days to do this again? Fuck yes. So anyways, that's my fun fact. Thanks. So yeah, there's that. But it was really fun. Let me tell you, like I said in the TikTok and in the story, I stopped competitively skating 5 years ago, which is crazy to think about the fact that it was 5 years ago. And I didn't fully stop because of injuries and stuff. I mean, I did. That was a huge chunk of it. I also stopped because grown adults are bullies to children that they don't like and that they are jealous of. And I refused to skate for an organization that encouraged adults to bully children. Anyways, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that. Sorry, Mom. If you listen to this, don't get mad at me for saying that. But anyways, that was 5 years ago, which is so crazy. I was 17 the last time that I 16? I was 16. Grade 11 was the last year that I competitively skated, and then grade 12, I continued to coach for the little kids that I was coaching. But that was a long time ago, and I think I sometimes underestimate, I understand the changes that my body's gone through in 5 years, but also I feel like sometimes I really underestimate the impact that that's had on my, physical and mental health when it comes to my association with my sports and activities that I enjoy doing. Because let me tell you, I used to skate 20 plus hours a week, multiple days a week for multiple hours a day, and I was just fine. Granted, I was a child, between the ages of 10 to 16, but just seeing the drastic difference between I went for an hour and a half to public skating, which you can't do really anything, you can only skate. They don't let you skate backwards, which that's a whole thing that I could gripe on, but essentially my whole thing was, it is frightening to see the changes that your body can go through in what feels like such a short amount of time. To me, 5 years for some reason doesn't feel that long. I'm aware that that's almost a quarter of the life that I've lived so far. 5 years, I'm only 22. 5 years is almost a quarter of my existence. For some reason, I still got pretty in my head just about the fact that I was tired. I was exhausted. My entire body hurt. I woke up the next morning and I was I feel sore in places that I don't remember it being possible to be sore here. So after that, I've made it my goal for this winter to get back to the rink in some way. I don't really know how that's going to look because public skating is hard because they only let you stroke essentially, which is fine, but I would love to get back to doing, I was going to say edge work, I shouldn't say that because that's going to get taken out of context. But I would love to get back to doing like just some super basic dances or some skills and some whatever. So I'm going to have to figure out how that's going to look because I cannot afford to rent private ice multiple times in through the winter. It's like $300 an hour here. So maybe I'll talk, I don't know. Anyways, I did that last Sunday and it was really fun and it made me really happy to get back to the rink, but definitely was like guess what? Anyways, I did that last weekend, which was awesome, and I'm going to continue to go, hopefully like every weekend, if possible. Let's jump right in to what we are going to talk about this week, which I kind of mentioned this in the last episode that I wanted to talk about like self-care and wellness activities or like wellness, whatever you want to call it, in the fall and winter. Because here's the thing. Again, I live in Saskatchewan for people who don't. I live in Saskatchewan for people who don't know. We get such drastic differences between our summer and our winter. And I know that there's so many places that are like that. But there's also a lot of places where realistically, there's not a ton of difference between your summer and winter. Whereas here, just like the change in the daylight. I went from like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, waking up at 4:30 or 4:45 when I get up for the gym and the sun already starting to come up. I would be driving to the gym and the sun, like I was looking at the sunrise. And now I wake up and it is pitch black. I go to the gym and it is pitch black. I leave the gym and the sun is just barely starting to rise. I'm like just starting to see pink in the sky. And then I get to work and the sun is still kind of rising. It's almost there. And then I get home from work. It's what time is it right now? It is 5:09 and the sun is setting. And the sun will be completely set by 7:15, if that, 6:45. It's like, it is drastic how much of a difference, like, it's insane. So, anyways, as the seasons change and as days get, like, drastically shorter, it can be really, really difficult. I'm looking at the iPad again, if you're watching on YouTube. Hey, by the way, we're on YouTube for any of you who want to watch your podcasts. Emily Brilliard on YouTube. I'll link it in the show notes. But I'm looking down at the iPad, sorry. As the seasons change and days become so significantly shorter, it can be really, really challenging to maintain your self-care routines and to stay on top of your wellness habits. That's the word I was looking for earlier, habits. Anyways, so I just wanted to talk about like the importance of prioritizing your self-care and your wellness habits in the fall and winter months, addressing some seasonal changes that impact physical, mental, and emotional health, and just like a couple tips, a few words of advice from Emily about how to help you stay well and balanced during the colder months. So yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so here's the thing. One of the biggest causes of reduced mood in fall, winter, and very, very early spring is seasonal affective disorder. Essentially the whole like seasonal depression, now it's more so referred to as seasonal affective disorder, especially because it's a lot more widely, I don't know the word I'm looking for, suffered with. A lot more people have s.a.d. or s.a.d. than what we ever thought. It used to be this like, seasonal depression, which was like, this is a major diagnosable depression that people are suffering from, whereas seasonal affective disorder is a much broader diagnosis for people, and also things that you don't necessarily need a diagnosis for. I'm not saying to ever self-diagnose, except kind of when it comes to this, because I think a good chunk of people do actually suffer from seasonal affective disorder. And like winter blues, it used to be winter blues. That's what people called it because they didn't want to be diagnosed with seasonal depression, because that was, again, this like major red stamp on their mental health report card. Whereas now, winter blues is seasonal affective disorder. That's what it's always been, but now it's more commonly referred to as that. Seasonal affective disorder is such a major contributor to why it's difficult to prioritize self-care and to keep your wellness and fitness and health routines once fall hits. Like, if I'm honest, one of the major things with seasonal affective disorder is the reduced amount of sunlight and vitamin D that we're getting during the day, and shorter days can have such a major effect on your mood. Everybody knows the importance of the sun. There's the whole Huberman thing about being like getting sunlight within the first 15 minutes of waking up. going for a walk, watching the sunset so that you can help your circadian rhythm, all of these things. Also, just vitamin D in general, which you get from the sun, is so crucial to the balance in your brain. So again, when I'm waking up and going to the gym, right now I'm still lucky because I'm seeing the sunrise as I leave the gym and as I get ready for work and walk to work. Give it like a month and guarantee I'm not going to see that. Especially some days I start work at 7:30. The sun is not up by 7:30 in January. The sun is maybe up by 9. So then I'm at work until 3:30. I'm going to leave work at 3:30, see a little bit of the sun, and then the sun's going to start setting at 4:45. So in my entire day, I'm realistically getting around an hour and a half to 2.5 hours of sunlight. Granted, that is not like me outside in direct exposure to the sunlight because it's minus 40 degrees here in the winter, and I'm sorry. I know a lot of people have more self-discipline and more, like, whatever than I do. You cannot convince me that going for a walk in minus 40 is enjoyable. I see people running outside in minus 40. Props to them. You are... I don't even know what type of superhuman you have to be to do that. I'm not doing it. I'm not going for a 2-hour walk just to get some more sun. I'm not doing it. So okay, we're back to the s.a.d. thing, or the seasonal affective disorder. That's like a good chunk of what we're going to talk about at the beginning half here. This is from Hopkins Medicine. We love Hopkins. Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression. It happens during certain seasons of the year, most often fall and winter. It is thought that shorter days and less daylight may set off a chemical change in the brain, leading to symptoms of depression. Light therapy and antidepressants can help treat s.a.d. s.a.d. often starts during adulthood. The risk of s.a.d. increases with age. It is rare to see people younger than 20 suffering from seasonal affective disorder. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It just means that, typically speaking, as you get older, the more susceptible you are to suffering from s.a.d. Less sunlight and shorter days are thought to be linked to a chemical change in the brain. They may be part of the cause of s.a.d. That's another thing. s.a.d. is not, because it's more of like, I don't want to say it's a relatively new concept because it's not. Again, like winter blues has existed since a billion years ago, but because it's now more widely acknowledged in people, it is very under-researched in terms of causes and effects. Melatonin, a sleep-related hormone, has also been linked to s.a.d. The body naturally makes more melatonin when it's dark, so when the days are shorter and darker, more melatonin is made, which in turn makes you feel tired and groggier. These are the most common symptoms of s.a.d. or seasonal affective disorder: increased sleep and daytime drowsiness, loss of interest and pleasure in activities formerly enjoyed, social withdrawal and increased sensitivity to rejection, grouchiness and anxiety, feelings of guilt and hopelessness, excessive tiredness or fatigue, decreased ability to focus, trouble thinking clearly, increased appetite, especially for sweets or carbohydrates, weight gain, physical problems such as headaches, and the list goes on and on and on. So, again, s.a.d. borders very closely to traditional psychological depression. If you are concerned that you are struggling with s.a.d. and you're concerned that it is continuing past like the seasonal change on which, so like fall onset s.a.d. typically occurs like end of September, beginning of October. Again, we're losing a lot of daylight. These things are all occurring. There is also like spring onset s.a.d., which is like summer depression as opposed to winter depression. I don't know a ton about that because I don't know how it affects the opposite, so I'm not going to talk about that. But there is a lot of similarities between s.a.d. and standard depression. If you're worried that this is going beyond like the seasonal change and this is obviously like more impactful in your life, please talk to somebody. Do not take my advice as like end all be all. Go talk to somebody. How is s.a.d. treated? So these are like some pretty common whatever. Exposure to sunlight. Spending time outside or near a window can help ease symptoms. Again, I understand that this is really difficult for a lot of people here, especially if you work like a 9 to 5, because typically you're at work around 8, the sun isn't up yet, you're leaving after 5, and the sun is already setting. So you really have such a limited amount of time during your day to try and get exposure to sunlight. But it's one of those things like when possible, do that. If it's a warm day, go for a walk, if possible. If you have the option between sitting in a cubby and sitting beside a window, go sit by a window. These little things can help. Light therapy. If increasing sunlight is not possible, exposure to a special light for a certain amount of time each day may help. Certain light sources are best for s.a.d. Check with your healthcare provider for a recommendation. I know that a lot of places sell like happy lamps or sunlight lamps. Costco used to sell them. I don't know if they still do. I will say, I have considered getting one this year. I thought about it last year and then I never ended up doing it, but I think this year might be the year that I finally do it for some light therapy. Psychotherapy, or like typical cognitive, behavioral, or interpersonal therapy, helps change the distorted views you may have of yourself and the environment around you. It can help you improve interpersonal relationship skills. It can also help you identify things that cause stress and learn how to manage them. Go to therapy year round. I know that therapy is not always accessible and affordable to most people. I don't currently go to therapy, but I really should. I always recommend therapy, even if you think that you're not like the typical person that would benefit from therapy. Chances are you would. So go to therapy all year long. Antidepressants. These prescription medications can help correct the chemical imbalances that may lead to s.a.d. If you know for a fact that it is s.a.d. and that it's not standard depression, personally, I would recommend trying other things first before antidepressants for s.a.d. I'm not saying they're not helpful, and I'm not saying that some people don't benefit more from that than other things. 100%. Whatever you and your psychiatric team discuss, do that. But for a lot of people, s.a.d. can be relatively easily managed by, again, sunlight exposure, light therapy, talk therapy, all of these things before taking an antidepressant. I am not anti-antidepressants, but I do think it's important for people to try and discuss all of their options with their healthcare providers before jumping to medication in certain situations. There's also some other things that can help ease symptoms. These are like more lifestyle habit things. Set realistic goals in light of the depression. If you know that you are struggling with s.a.d., don't take on like major goals and tasks in your personal life that are going to prohibit your ability to feel like you've accomplished anything. Do little things during the week that give you the enjoyment of life again, whether that's like going to a movie, I don't know, being social, going for drinks, actually don't go for drinks if you're sad. Don't drink while you're sad. But like go for supper with friends or any other like activity or hobby that you think might help and that'll, I don't know, make you enjoy life. Get regular exercise, move your body, people. Focus on your nutrition, make sure that you're eating like a balanced diet, make sure you're drinking enough water, make sure you're getting your electrolytes and any vitamins. Hey, take vitamin D. I used to only take it in the fall and winter. I now take it year round just to like whatever. Here's the thing with vitamins. Again, check with your healthcare providers before you take anything, but for 90% of vitamins, if you don't need them, like if you have like an excess, you're gonna pee it out. So for a lot of things, there's no like crazy health risk of taking it because, and most of the time any excess will just be peed out. So again, check with your doctors, go get a blood panel before you start taking things. But vitamin D can be so insanely helpful in the fall and winter and year round to balance the vitamin D, like the lack of vitamin D that you're getting from the sun. Those are some key points about s.a.d. I feel like that was a long segment of this, sorry, but it is something that I feel like people don't always want to talk about because people don't like to acknowledge the fact that you can in fact have like temporary, quote unquote, temporary depressions through your life. But yeah. So another impact on like the seasonal changes on your wellness habits, the natural inclination to slow down and like relax and calm down in the fall and winter is like, that's the whole thing, the whole like cozy vibes of late fall or whatever. People want to slow down, they want to stay on the couch, they want to do all of these things, which is great. If that's what's going to serve you in life is slowing down, allow it to happen, but also understand that you have to have boundaries with yourself on, there's a difference between me slowing down and taking, I don't know, an extra rest day a week or whatever that is. that's one thing, but allowing myself to completely ignore all of my hobbies and physical and mental health, like, what's that word? Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, completely neglecting the habits that I've built for myself through the spring and summer does not reflect well in fall and winter. It's gonna make you sad. It's gonna make you feel out of routine, and that's not a good thing. Another major part, everybody gets sick in the winter. It is like, you get frat flu in September because everybody's back to school and everybody's ill all fucking fall and winter. You're just sick all the time. So, like, colder weather brings increased risk of illness, which makes your self-care albeit more important. Make sure you're drinking your water. Make sure you're eating balanced meals. Make sure you're not deficient in vitamins and minerals. Make sure you're exercising. All of these things that can help reduce your risk of getting sick, which in turn makes it easier to want to function in life if you're not dying of some illness. I think it's important, this goes along with the s.a.d. stuff, it is really, really important to prioritize your mental health in the colder and darker months. Don't get me wrong, prioritize your mental health year round. However, because of the susceptibility of people to suffer with s.a.d. or just like general gloominess in the fall and winter, it is so crucial that you take it upon yourself to make those extra efforts in your life to maintain and boost your mental health. Make an effort to reach out to your friends and family, despite everybody's desire to stay inside and stay cozy and not talk to people and do whatever else because it's the cold and comfy months. Make sure you're talking to people. Make sure you're like socializing at work just as much as you would in the summer. If you were going out twice a week with your friends in the summer, try and do the same. Maybe you're not going to the lake and you're not going to whatever, but go paint pottery or go sit at each other's houses and, I don't know, do whatever the fuck you want to do. But maintain your relationships because it is crucial for your mental health to continue your social life through this period of the year. And also, like, because of this whole slower pace, the cozy, the comfy, whatever, use that as a time for like self-reflection in your life, whether that's journaling, meditation, mindfulness. We've talked about all of those things. I'll link the episodes in the show notes. But using this as like a reflection period in your life, don't get me wrong, don't go too like introspective into your world and think that you're gonna blow up your entire brain by thinking about stuff, but just in general. Also, there's a lot of family time during the fall and winter. All of the holidays are within the next couple months, and I am very understanding of the fact that that is not an easy time for so many people, whether that's like immediate family or distant family, that makes holidays difficult and makes this whole time a stressful period of like, okay, we just had Thanksgiving, and I keep seeing TikToks of like, wow, I can't wait to go discuss trans rights at my Thanksgiving supper with my racist aunt. Like, shit like that, because sometimes it is so frustrating to deal with people that you are blood related to and then in turn are supposed to have this wonderful relationship with, when it turns out they're terrible people. Whoops. So yeah, stress-induced family time, or family-induced stressful, whatever you want to call it, but that can be a whole thing. So use this time, reflect on yourself, and make improvements for yourself. Set a good routine for yourself. Create, like, okay, so the whole winter arc thing, which started October 1st, but the whole premise is spending the next 3 to 6 months throughout this winter to build the person that you want to be in the summer, and I fucking love it. Don't get me wrong, I have opinions on it. I talked about that in the last episode, and I've talked about it on Instagram quite a bit. I have opinions, but the general premise of this whole, like, hey, use the next 6 shitty months of the year to build the person that you want to become in the spring. I love it. I love it. So some, like, physical wellness things that you can do for the fall and winter. Boosting your immune system. Again, focus on your nutrition that supports immunity. Vitamin C rich foods. That's a lot of, like, citrusy fruits, whatever else. Leafy greens, garlic, ginger, things that help prevent you from getting sick, and things that also help you feel better faster. Eat a lot of soup. It's fucking soup season, guys. Throw some garlic in your soup, like all of the things. Throw some spinach, get some dark greens in there. Your nutrition is obviously important year round, but it's such a crucial part to feeling like the best version of yourself, despite the fact that there's 8,000 inches of snow outside. Staying hydrated, even though you might not feel as thirsty in colder months because you're not out in the sun, you're not in plus 40, you're not in the lake, you're not like hiking or swimming, like doing these things that typically exhaust your body and make you feel thirsty. Most of the time you're not doing them in the winter. Keep track of your water intake. I know that it's cheesy, whether it's a water bottle or you're tracking it in your phone, somehow keep track of how much water you're drinking. You might think that you're like well hydrated, and then you actually keep track of it and you're only drinking like 16 ounces a day. Newsflash, 16 ounces is not nearly enough water. So keep track of your water intake. Continue with your workouts, whether that's outdoor or indoor workouts. I know different places allow for different things in terms of like, okay, winter in other places, you can still go for a run outside. Winter here, I'm not running in minus 40. But if you are doing any outdoor activities, whether that's like hiking or literally just going for a short couple minute walk or whatever it is, make sure you're dressing appropriately. Don't get sick. I know that you don't get sick because of the cold, but don't. Dress appropriately. There's so many indoor workouts you can do if you're not in a structured workout routine right now. There's like online Pilates and online yoga classes that you can find on YouTube. There's like a million strength training sessions that you can find on YouTube, or go join a group class or join a gym, whatever it is, whatever allows you to, sometimes getting out of your house is the best thing. So I will always advocate for leaving your house to do your workout. I'm not saying you can't work out at home. If that's what works best for you, then do that. I'm just saying I feel a lot better when I like force myself to leave the house at least once a day. I go to my workout, like I go to my gym, I do my workout, and I come home, and I know that I've left the house for the past 2 hours, and I feel like I've accomplished something, even if that's the only thing I do that day. Another major thing can be your sleep routine and making slight adjustments to your sleep routine. As days get shorter, adjusting your sleep schedule for a more consistent and restful sleep can be really helpful. As always, aim for 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep to support your immune function and also boost your mood. I feel like I've done a whole episode about like sleep hygiene and whatnot, but I probably could do another one. Focusing on your sleep hygiene and your sleep routine over the next couple months can make such a huge difference in how you feel during the day. If you are a regular melatonin taker, which I am, I take melatonin pretty much every night, think about reducing the amount that you're taking, because your body is naturally producing more melatonin now than it is in July when the sun is up until 10 p.m. So I like kind of cut my melatonin intake in half, or take magnesium instead of melatonin. Again, talk to your providers, but taking magnesium can be a good replacement for melatonin, especially because your body is naturally producing a way excess of melatonin compared to a couple months ago. Nourishing your body with seasonal foods. Focus on seasonal vegetables like squash, sweet potatoes, root veggies, anything like nutrient dense veggies and leafy greens and stuff like that. Try nutrient dense soups, stews, and teas that nourish and provide warmth. Mindful eating. Be mindful of emotional eating that may stem from holiday stress or the desire for comfort foods. I am going to do an episode this year, I think, about like emotional eating, mainly around holidays, but it is such a huge thing. I'm not going to talk about a ton here. There's so many podcasts and resources for learning how to navigate emotional eating, but just remember that holidays are stressful. This whole time of year is insane and chaos. And although it's okay to find comfort in food, make sure that you're maintaining your healthy relationship with your nutrition and with your diet. But that'll be like a December episode. But yeah, just be mindful of emotional eating that may stem from holiday stress or the desire for comfort foods. Typically it doesn't make you feel better. It makes you feel better while you're doing it, and then afterwards you might feel sick or whatever it is. Self-care rituals to stay grounded. Creating a cozy home environment. Set up your space with cozy blankets, candles, warm lighting to create a comforting atmosphere. I love me some white lights. Don't get me wrong. I like everything to be boring and minimal and bright white lights, and my sister calls them OR lights because she hates them. She is the opposite. She's granny lighting. She is like, everything must be the dimmest of dim. Let me tell you, fall and winter, I veer more to that side just because it creates this warmth in your environment that otherwise doesn't exist because it's not hot outside. It's minus a million. So creating warmth, especially visually and textile. what's the things you can touch? Soft thing, candles. Don't touch candles. That is not what I meant. Blankets, pillows, changing out your bedding for something that's like comfy, cozy, soft. Obviously don't buy excess bedding because everything you've ever bought still exists on this planet. Making your house and your room a place that you enjoy going to and a place that is comforting and cozy and whatever else. One big thing is your actual like physical self-care. Dry skin. And oh my god, so dry skin is super common in colder months because it's dry and it's cold. Investing in hydrating skincare routines such as moisturizers, oils, lip balms, lotions, whatever else. I don't think people realize how much of a difference your skin can actually make in your day-to-day life. My worst fucking feeling ever is like my face being dry or my like body being dry. Buy lotion, buy body oil, buy whatever you want and moisturize your body. Take care of your skin. It is the largest organ on your body. Take care of it. Prioritize it. It's important. Enjoy warm baths or hot tea or enjoy warm baths or hot teas or hot chocolate or herbal infusions to relax and unwind. Finding additional things that you can add into your like day-to-day routine can make such a difference between you feeling like, oh, I'm just going through the motions of life and I'm trying to get through the next 6 months. And no, I actually enjoy it. I have my hot bath a couple times a week. I drink my hot chocolate with my supper. Whatever else. This kind of goes along with the emotional eating and the holidays and whatnot. Managing stress and holiday expectations. Again, we'll kind of breeze through these because I will do more episodes end of November, beginning of December about this. Be intentional about how you spend your time during the holidays. Say no to events that feel overwhelming. Hey, guess what? It is in fact okay to say no to spending time with people that you don't want to spend time with. I know that that's not always it's easier said than done for a lot of people, but if you are an adult and you are independent in life, you do have the freedom to say no to holidays, to say no to family get-togethers, anything that is going to put a rift in the way that you are existing. You can say no to it, and that's okay. Avoid holiday financial stress by focusing on low-cost self-care activities. That kind of goes into, like, that's a whole realm that Emily doesn't really understand. I like spending money, so. But yeah, if, like, financials are a stressful thing during fall and winter, just be intentional with your spending habits and whatever. Shifting the focus from material gifts. Again, this is mainly like around Christmassy time. Shift the focus from material gifts to meaningful connections and experiences. Practice gratitude daily to boost mental well-being. It's a very materialistic time of year. Again, basically from September until like March. So it is really beneficial to understand the fact that the material gifts that you give and receive in life are not more important than the connections you have with the people that you are receiving those gifts from. So encourage those. Wellness through nature in fall and winter. Even with cold temperatures, spending time outside can boost mood and reduce stress. Late fall, early winter, and then late winter, early spring, when it's kind of warm enough to actually justify being outside, throw some sweatpants on, throw some boots on, throw a jacket on, and go for like a 10-minute walk. Literally anything. Cold air is good for you. It can make such a huge difference in just your whole feeling regarding your existence that day. So when it is warm enough and when it's safe, go outside if possible. It can make a huge difference. Fall and winter, again, naturally encourage slowing down. So use this time for rest, self-care, and introspection. I'm not saying that you have to continue this like hustle and bustle through the entire year. Don't get me wrong. Spring and summer is insane for me. This past spring and summer felt so insanely busy and hectic, and it was so good. Am I excited for fall and winter to slow down a little bit? Yes. However, because life is slowing down, I'm allowing myself to kind of ramp up in my mental and physical improvements. To say, like, I'm putting a lot of focus into the gym and into my nutrition and all of these things. So as much as life is slowing down and I'm giving myself that rest period of like, okay, take a breath. You don't have to like see people 5 days a week anymore because it's plus 40 and our summers are 3 months long. I'm still using this time to make self-improvements, but at a general pace, at like a hey, I'm going to be gentle with myself and give myself room for both things to exist. So I think one of the best parts, or one of the best things that you can do for yourself in this period, is like write down your priorities for the season, whether it's maintaining exercise or practicing mindfulness or staying connected with your friends and loved ones. Setting intentions and goals for yourself in this, whether like this season or this period of your life, can help keep you on track and also give you time to check in with yourself of like, okay, I set these goals in September. It's now middle of December. What have I accomplished? What haven't I accomplished? Like, what am I missing? What steps have I not taken to get me from A to B? And it can also be really helpful to just have a check-in with yourself of like, how am I feeling? How am I doing? Beginning of September, I was in this fantastic mood. It was still summer and all of these things, and life was so good. I wasn't worried about s.a.d, or I wasn't worried about whatever it was. And now it's 2 months later and I am not doing well. But if you don't have that metric to base it off of, it can sometimes be hard to see how you're actually doing. So write down your priorities, whether that's like, I do it for like pretty much every like quarter of the year, and I break it down by a lot of things. I'm like, okay, here's work, here's financials, here's social media in terms of like podcasts and Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. Here's my wellness goals, here's my health goals, here's my like break it down into different sections of your life so that I can go through and make little check marks for the next 3 months, because a girl loves lists. Incorporating small sustainable habits into your daily routine that support wellness, such as drinking a hot cup of tea before bed or starting the morning with a stretch. Again, my whole freaking thing all year round is making sustainable lifestyle changes so that when you get to the other side of whatever this current roadblock is, you have sustainable habits, not these like short, quick fixes. If you're going to do something for the next 4 months while it's miserable and cold out, that's not sustainable for the rest of your life, was it really beneficial? Maybe you think it was, and that's great. But I will always stand by the fact that it is so important to focus on like sustainable lifestyle changes rather than 30-day challenges that you're never going to continue when you're done, you know? So like fall and winter and cold months bring unique challenges to maintaining your wellness and self-care, but they also give so many opportunities for like deep rest and reflection and self-care. So by adapting your wellness and health routine to the season and being mindful of like your mental and your physical and your emotional needs during this time of your life, you can prioritize self-care in ways that are nurturing and restorative instead of, I don't know how to explain, like spring and summer to me in terms of like health and wellness. I love pushing myself in those months of the year. I love being like, hey, let's see what the fuck you can do for the next 6 months, because it's nice out and I'm like, my mood is great and all of these things, and the world feels on my side. It feels like a very like hustle bustle, like go in the spring and summer. Fall and winter, again, nurturing, restorative, all of these things that give you that comfort of like, hey, you did the work for the last 6 months. Let's continue it, but just in a slightly different way. Embrace the coziness of the seasons. Embrace the like kind of slowed down, relaxed lifestyle for most people. And take this time to recharge as you head into the new year. Oh my god, are we so excited for another New Year's episodes? We all know how I feel about New Year's resolutions. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't enjoy fall and winter. I'll give you that much. I don't want to sit here on like a pedestal and be like, I do all of my best self-work in the fall and winter. I don't. I really, truly don't. The whole point of this episode is kind of like me reminding myself of like, hey, this time of year sucks. It always sucks. It sucks every year. It never seems to get better. It's getting worse as I get older. And I'm a little stressed. Last winter was hard. I'll say that. I struggled mentally really fucking bad last winter, mentally and physically. I was not well, and I think it stresses me out knowing that summer is ended and it's now fall, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to do that all over again. But I don't want to do it the same way. I don't want to have this like anticipatory grief about what my fall and winter. Also, we're gonna do an episode about anticipatory grief. I don't know when. Let me know if that's something that y'all want to talk about. I want to talk about it, because a lot of people that I know like don't know that it's a thing and don't understand it, and it is one of my favorite like psychological topics to talk about, because let me tell you, as a girl with anticipatory grief about everything and about so many people and so many things in my life, it is bonkers that people don't experience that. But anyways, moving on. I don't want to have this like predetermined idea about what the next few months of my life is going to look like, because that's what they looked like last year. I mean, I want to not only create new habits and new routines, but like sustain the ones that I've been living for the last 6 months, because I loved my routine this summer when I had one, when I was like well in the head and had a routine. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sit here and pretend like I have it all figured out and I don't struggle in the fall and winter, because I definitely do, but I don't want to as badly this year. So anyways, that's all I've got for this week. I was going to record another episode after this, but the sun is fully almost down and I'm going to lose all light in about 20 minutes. So that's all I've got for this week, guys. If you listen this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I hope you had an incredible Canadian Thanksgiving. Yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a review, whatever else it is they let you get. Can I talk? Leave a like, leave a comment, oh my god. You know what to do. Doesn't make a big difference for you guys, but it makes a huge difference for me. Go follow me on Instagram, Emily Brillard for my personal, EBFit for the gym page, Hey from Em for the podcast. We're on YouTube. I say it every week and I'll continue to say it, so if you would rather watch a podcast, link will be in the show notes. And what else? I think that's it. What's your homework for the week? Hey, go home. I was gonna say go home. You're probably home. Or you might be in your car. Whenever you are in a safe place to write a list, make a list of your goals for the next 3 months or the next 6 months, whatever you want to go off of. Break it down into different sections. What are your wellness goals for the winter? What are your physical, whatever it is. Write yourself some goals so that in the next couple months you can look back at it and have a metric of like, hey, this is where I was middle of October and this is where I am now. Better, worse than I thought. If it's better, great. If it's worse, where can we make some changes? Anyways, that's all I've got for this week, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll chat next week.